Hello, you're very welcome back. I was really getting into that. Yes, our next guest is set to achieve her lifelong... This was always my lifelong ambition as well, to turn every 5-year-old's dream into a reality when she becomes the first Irish person to travel to space.
Here to fill us in on her upcoming space travels is astronautics researcher, Dr. Norah Patten. How are you?
Good morning. Great, thank you.
That's why I never go to space with a title like that.
I can't pronounce it, I can't go. I mean, I swear to God, the parents just must be going, look at this. I mean, best leaving cert results in the world. Look what she's managed to do. Congratulations.
Thank you, thank you.
This is just relatively recent news that you're going to get to go to space. So tell us, how did it come about?
Yeah, very recent news. The reaction has been absolutely phenomenal. I mean, so many messages, so much excitement, enthusiasm, support, the whole lot. Photos of kids dressed as astronauts. That's really what it's all about. But yeah, this opportunity, as many people know, this has been an absolute lifelong goal, ambition, dream of mine for the last almost 30 decades now, which is hard to believe.
30 years.
30 years. 30 years, sorry, 3 decades.
Like you're looking well on 30 decades.
That's what space travel does to you.
Exactly.
Need to get out there.
I mean, it is exactly like growing up. I'd say maybe 3 decades. Like for me, I was the same. Growing up, there was no influencers. Rugby player wasn't really seen as a job. Like, to become an astronaut, like that is the dream. So what will you be doing on this mission?
Yeah, so with my research institute, IIAS, so that's the International Institute for Astronautical Sciences, I've been involved with them since 2017, and it's always been the big ambition of our research institute to send researchers to space. So our first researcher from the Institute, Kelly Girardi, flew with Virgin Galactic just a few months ago. So our flight is a continuation of all of the research that she'd done, but also we're going to be introducing new experiments and new payloads on board.
So it is a private... you are going with Virgin Galactic?
Correct, yeah. So it's a research suborbital commercial space flight.
What did they do? Sorry, what research-wise?
A whole different range of research. If you look at Virgin Galactic as an operator, there's been several different researchers that have flown with them, carried out many different like wearables, human-tended research, but also autonomous payloads, so rack experiments that fit in the spacecraft. So from our institute, we've a whole suite of experiments. We'll be talking a lot more detail in the coming months about what research we'll be operating. But just to give an example, Kelly flew a fluid cell, so she was looking at fluid behaviour in space. So we'll be expanding on that research and also introducing more
And you're going to have to be quick at this, because how long is that flight? How long is this suborbital flight? Yeah,
so suborbital with Virgin Galactic from takeoff to landing is less than 2 hours.
Wow.
But we'll be using every single moment of that to gather as much data as we possibly can.
You'll be sitting back like this here. You won't be able to do anything for most of it.
Won't get an episode of Friends away on the way up.
What's the in-flight entertainment like?
I'll have to report back post-space flight. Yeah.
What sort of training is it for a flight like this?
Through IIAS, I've done a whole range of different programmes and training programmes over the last few years. So the microgravity research flights is one very important aspect. So we do those with the National Research Council over in Canada. And on those, we fly in this parabolic profile of a flight where you get about 15 to 20 seconds of weightlessness. So that weightless time, you see the experiments float, you can really begin to understand how they behave and react in that environment. So we'll be operating as a crew. Myself, Kelly and Shauna will be flying together with Virgin Galactic. So we'll be really using the research flights to map out every moment of what we'll be doing on the space flight.
I suppose for things like this, as you said, this has been a childhood dream of yours. You wrote to NASA when you were a teenager. Like, this is a real... You're living this dream. There has been numerous studies done. There's been an awful lot of research out that girls are not doing the women in STEM. Like, there's not as many women being recruited into STEM, science, technology, engineering and maths. And that's where you sort of come in, isn't it? Trying to kind of go, OK, guys, there's careers in this.
I think, like, there's been many different reports over the last few years. It is absolutely a conversation, and a question that I'm often asked on interviews and panels and that. I think there's so many layers to it, society, school, parents, teachers. Like, there's so many things that feed into, all of us in how we're influenced and how we're impacted in career choices and all of that. But I really hope, that people will see my journey from when this was impossible. Like, this was impossible to get to space when I was growing up. And now it is possible and it's going to happen. And I just think it, it's just been so positive so far. And I just hope that, the little girls and boys watching will take something positive from it.
Because we talk about in sport, you have to see it to believe it and have a role model like yourself. And it is an all-female team that is going up in this flight as well. Like, where did your love, because we saw your picture and your letter to NASA, so where did that love come from?
Yeah, so when I was in primary school, I was 11 and I got to visit NASA over in Cleveland, Ohio. So I have an aunt, and my mom's sister lives in Cleveland, and then I have a huge family on my dad's side. So we were on a family holiday, and like that, I was the only one of us that took an interest in space by going to the visit to NASA. So I always say to parents, just expose kids to many, many, many different things. The zoo, the sports, science museums, because we're all different. We all take different interests. And that for me was a start of a lifelong love of space. But then I think going to visit Kennedy Space Centre when I was 15, I just thought, this is it.
This is the real deal.
It was just amazing.
And we're all kind of looking at those flights that they're trying to do. NASA are doing them with, various private enterprises. This is a private enterprise. And it has opened up the questions of the commercialisation of space and space tourism and all that kind of stuff. What do you make of it? Because this has been a goal of yours, and it is research that you're hopefully going to put into practical use on the surface of the Earth. What do you make of the race for space, the space tourism and all that?
So I've been an advocate for commercial opportunities for the last number of years. I mean, I've seen the benefit and experienced the benefit myself. Rewind 10 years ago, this year in 2014, I worked with a commercial company called NanoRacks to send the first Irish student experiment to the space station. That wouldn't have happened if there wasn't commercial access at that time. And I think, we talk about why is this space flight important? I think from so many levels and so many different positions. Look at the economics of space. So there's a recent report by the World Economic Forum. The space economy is looking like it'll hit 1.8 trillion by 2035.
What does that mean?
Yeah.
It's a huge growing industry. So it's set to triple between now and then.
What are they going to do? What's next?
There's so many different layers. So you have everything from all the satellite data. There's so many different layers, the launchers, how do we get things to space, the data that comes down from them, communications, internet. It's layered. But do we want a seat at that table or do we not? And I think there's many ways.
From an Irish point of view?
From an Irish point of view, absolutely, yeah. I think there's huge opportunities in the sector. So, yeah, I've been a long time advocate for commercial opportunities.
Because you could get involved in this. I believe that if you can see it, you can believe it. This is one man who visualises.
Pass an exam, I reckon.
But it's Ireland's national space strategy. We've got a national space strategy.
Absolutely, yeah. So,
to be involved.
So in 2019, there was the space strategy for enterprise that was announced. That's coming up for renewal next year. But just to give a little insight into the growth, even in Ireland, it's been phenomenal to see the past decade what's happened. But in the report that was announced in 2019, they had given a goal of 100 companies in Ireland availing of European Space Agency supports. And they surpassed that as of January this year. So they're ahead of the targets in that report. So it just goes to show there's massive opportunities and growth here for Ireland. And I really hope that the next report is going to be very ambitious and that really sets out a very ambitious goal for Ireland in
We're
space.
taking over the world all over the place. We're going to take over space next. What advice would you have for young boys, young girls who have that dream of trying to get themselves, like you, into space?
Yeah, I think like these things don't happen overnight. You have to be willing to put in the long haul, you know, the hard work, but find people who'll support you in your big ambitions, because this was impossible when I was growing up. And I often say about my junior cert art teacher, Mr. McDonough, who used to help me design rockets, and you know, in second year in school, and he sent me a message last week to say he never doubted this day would happen. So just to say, you have to have people in your corner to support that and support the big ambitions.
I absolutely love that. That is so good. A teacher who can make such a difference in someone's life. 2 years is when you're hoping. It's when you're going. Is it 2 years?
So we are anticipated to go within the first 12 months of Virgin Galactic's newest ship.
Okay.
And that's due to commence in 2026. So just to give you a rough timeline.
We're on a countdown. We're on a countdown. She's got a clock going inside the thing. Dr. Norah Patten, it's been a pleasure seeing you. Huge congratulations. Delighted for you.
Thanks a million.
Really, really exciting. Good on you,
It's
Norah.
very cool.
Isn't it?
Visualise.
Oh, I
wouldn't put it past him, lads. I wouldn't put it past him.